Hi, thanks for joining the live stream. This is the base is basically a screamer, and this morning we've built the seeker, and there is a couple of. This is the base is basically a iteration. Sorry, it's the stream that is coming back, feeding back in. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the seeker that is blind, so a lot of the overgrown genetics is kind of blocking the line of sight. So sorry, it's blocking the eyesight. But this is really rough because you could see maybe from this morning's live stream, I'm just going around kind of spreading details here and there, but more importantly, I really want to see all four characters alongside each other, and then from there I can refine and maybe even throw away this entire thing and do it again, right? So the seeker I took about, sorry, the screamer I took about of a day, but more like 6 hours, split into 2 sessions to produce. I do have the mirror progress captured screenshots, but yeah, in general it's just getting the head out, and then subsequently the second session was to get the rest of the body and the hands in. So today in this session for the Mauler is basically the biggest boss, and it's basically like a tank in the usual game, and I need to start beefing it up with lots of fats. So yeah, let's start. I'm gonna talk less and do more work. Yeah, let's go. So I have symmetry on, and we're just gonna lay in the fats around the neck first. And I think this morning I tried not to use to rebuild the Dynamesh because I have it done with this morph target, but this time around, because the Mauler is going to be vastly different in terms of its body shape, I will have to rebuild the Dynamesh. So if you don't really know Dynamesh, I do have a tutorial talking about it, so do check out the playlist. But for now, yeah, I'm just gonna build Dynamesh, rebuild each time so that I can build this character as I go, because the shape is gonna be vastly different, the silhouette's gonna be vastly different. So for now, I'm just going to lay in the fats. So we started off with like a very skinny guy, so now we're just gonna go in and lay in the fatty tissues. If the music is a bit too loud, just let me know. Right, it doesn't really matter like with the strokes that we've added. Later on we can clean those up. For now, I'm more concerned with the silhouettes. It'll look kind of weird halfway through because you have partial body that is skinny and then the rest is kind of fat. So we need to balance that up. I don't really want it to just be pure fat. There'll be some larger muscular structure as well, so we need to kind of beef it up as well. Even though right now I'm just using the base screamer as my model, but later on in game it's going to be slightly bigger, about 1.2 to 1.5 scale of the screamer. So it won't be kind of like identical silhouette per se. It's going to be slightly larger. Right, so all this collarbone that we see will be gone. In fact, maybe let me just add in a bit of mass for this one. Right, we can then smooth it out. It's way more volume over here. And let's not get too hang up with the head sculpt, because we need to move to the rest of the body and then come back to here again. Okay, as I said, it's gonna look a bit weird at the start because we have like half of the body, it's fatty tissues, and then the other half is like completely lean, so that transition will take a while. Let's put in some larger mass over here. As you can tell, the volume has greatly changed, so we need to rebuild the Dynamesh. So if you turn on wireframe, you could see that the wireframe has been stretched quite a fair bit. So if I rebuild it, yeah, it's gonna recalculate and revoxelize, and then from there I can kind of the detail a bit more. This music slightly louder. This part looks kind of weird, but later on I think we will have to adjust the overall proportion. For now, let's just not get too hanged up by a single part. Let's try to spread out as much as we can. If not, then it will continue to look weird with half body that is lean and skinny, and then the other half it's just fatty. I usually squint my eye like that, just so that I can visualize the 2D shapes instead of it's just a way to block my brain from perceiving 3D space or 3D volumes. My brain has been trained to see the 3D volume for a long time, so when I force my eyes to squint like that, it's almost like a switch to turn my eyes and brain to look at only the silhouettes and the 2D shapes. So that way I can also check the 2D and 3D aspect of the sculpt. I think the sides here are gonna be much larger. Over here I want a kind of like a drooping effect, right? So the fats is kind of just drooping, hanging off the top portion of the... Now I think it's time to kind of figure this out. I think it's maybe because the volume here needs to be along the trapezius. And also I think this part here, there will be probably way more fats as well, so we can just kind of spread it out like that. Yeah, and maybe the entire body mass is also gonna shift slightly. I don't want to kind of change it too much because my intent is still to share the base rig as well. So I would like at least the distance between bones should stay the same, even though we're just gonna scale it up proportionately by 1.5 times or 1.2 times. I got a feeling that this neck is too long for the skinny guy. I think I had to exaggerate it to elongate the body, but now it's a bit too long for the Mauler. Let's see if we can come back to that later. Let's just continue to scale everything up. So this part, we can also use the move tool, just push things out slightly. This one here as well. Right, so it's quite massive, almost drooping off the front. And then you have the fat edge just hanging behind. It's covering all the bony parts. And we need to increase the volume for the arms as well. Previously it was really lean where you can just see muscles and bones. Right now it's gonna be larger muscle mass and fatty tissues. So we'll need to kind of work those out. One of the things is like when I have this very irregular surface, and even if you smooth it, you still see the lines. What I would usually do is to use the H polish and just lightly tap on the surface and just kind of drag it along, so that way I can flatten the the surface detail, but not too much, because sometimes it does leave a bit of like a nice skin fold, so we don't want to kind of completely clean it up, right? So just lightly touching the tablet. Right, from there it's still weird, right? Because we have half body that is very lean and skinny, and then the other half is kind of evolving to something very different. So again, let's not get too hung up by the details. Let's try to get the larger volumes in first. It's really a mixture between this clear build-up and move tool to nudge the volumes around. Like this triceps will be rather huge, I think. So I again, my intent is not to have like a completely fatty guy, but there is still some muscles. He needs to be quite strong, so it's like a bird, right? So if it attacks you, it's pretty damaging. So all this kind of goes back to the original design of what we shared on Miro. Now it's just kind of building that vision, continuation of that in our execution every step of the way. Like over here it was quite bony back then, so now I'm just gonna come in and add in some volumes for the arm. There is this brush that is quite useful. It's called Inflate, and you could just go in and pump in a volume quite quickly instead of sculpting like 360. Right, so I can come in and just pump in volumes and inflate it. And yeah, it needs to be quite proportionate to its upper body. Over here you see this crease, that's fine. You're just gonna smooth it out, or even when you do Ctrl Z, rebuild it, right? And then it's gonna go away. That means there's no kind of inner surfaces that are hidden. Once it rebuilds, it's a watertight mesh. Right, even for the hands, we should go for something slightly beefier. It's like hands of a construction worker are usually quite masculine. Like it's very thick because they're constantly carrying very heavy weights compared to somebody who doesn't. So we need to kind of replicate that. Each joint and each digits have very strong muscles. So Yeah, that way it's kind of a bit closer to what we have, right? I mean, at least for the forearm. Now we need to kind of bring that back here, again using a bit of move tool. Let's bring that volume, make it cohesive. In terms of design, we also need to make sure like things are flowing, right? So over here, I'm not too sure if it's actually flowing. Maybe this is too high, so let's bring it back down. This part here is definitely something we need to work out later. The neck of the screamer is way too long. Right. Again, let's not get too hang up. So let's let's continue working on the rest of the body. Same for the legs. The legs needs to be quite beefed up, right? So we have quite a huge piece of muscles on the leg. So let's just make sure that's also in. Same for here, this side. Not too shy in pressing down on the Wacom tablet to really add in huge volumes. Right, and then later on we'll use the inflate brush, but over here right now I think I'm just gonna see if we could add in some initial details. This leg is pretty lean for quite a heavy guy, so we need to beef it up. It's masculine and fatty at the same time, so I would like this to be slightly bigger. I do have a reference on the side, so I'm just kind of aiming to get something closer to my references. So over here I think it's fats are also less kind of firm, so they tend to droop a bit more, so that's how you can separate between like fatty tissues and muscles. I mean, in terms of sculpting. You can really feel like it's kind of drooping. This one here could be pressed down slightly. It's almost like the whole weight is hanging around the shoulder. Sorry, around the waist. I don't mean to say shoulder. Oh. And also, like, I think going with a live stream, hopefully my internet's more stable now. And again, coming back to live stream, just makes things a bit more. I want to use the word realistic, but I don't think it's the word. It's just more real time. Like, I am basically just you guys watching me work and we facing the problems in real time and then solving problems in real time. Like this neck thing here, I didn't foresee that, right? So it's nothing scripted, and I'm just kind of solving the problem as we go. And I think it will be helpful for those who are interested to learn something. It's not just the technical execution, but also artistic. Right, over here we're seeing kind of like a compressed shape. I don't really like that. I want to kind of make sure it's more natural in terms of the way it hangs around the body. Right, so as we're kind of changing shapes here and there, we need to make sure of that. Okay, so now I can see that the belly is kind of really bulging out even on the side, and that means I need to go in and beef up the legs, right? Which is also my intent, which is to build a beefier leg. And that's gonna flow in well. Right, I think it's time to use the inflate tool. So let's use the inflate tool. And let's try to pump it. Oh. I did not know that's gonna happen. It doesn't usually inflate the entire body. Let's see. Yeah, it's just a glitch. See? It's no longer inflating the rest of the body. It's just where I've planted in the strokes. When you go on live stream, things usually doesn't go according to plan. Alright, so you see all these cracks as I mentioned, so you're just gonna rebuild it. It's gonna take a while, and then when you smooth it out, it's gonna be gone, right? Because there are all these different surfaces that are folding into each other, and as I mentioned, they form kind of like a nice detail. So sometimes I don't have like a hard and fast rule on how to clean these things up, because sometimes this detail does give you a bit of inspiration, and I think this is also like my way of working as well. I don't like to design like every single aspect on paper. I did have sketches as well on the iPad using Procreate. I can maybe share that in the future. But I don't like designing every aspect of things on the paper and then copy exactly as it is in software, because I like this kind of happy accident. And also sometimes when I am designing something on paper, it looks great, but when you actually come into software and try to see it in 3D, it's different. So there's really no point getting it perfect on paper, because we all know things will always change when you're moving from 2D into 3D. And the final result is always based on 3D, right? Because that's the last medium that we are presenting, unless we're doing just an illustration, then sure. All right, so over here, I have a feeling that this Mauler, I can see that there is a really quite a massive amount of volume that we've introduced, but at the same time, it doesn't look like it's horizontally proportionate. So what I mean is, he looks kind of tall still. So I am not really liking that aspect. So again, this is the part where art comes in, putting on my art director hat to decide, right? Should I go this direction or should I head off somewhere else? So just putting on multiple. Oop, there you go, the bug is back again. And then gone again. I have no idea. Maybe it's not even a bug, it's like a feature. Okay, I'm using the hitch polish to just clean up some of those undulating surfaces, which no matter how you sculpt, they will always be there, because we are not perfect in the way we draw each strokes, right? So having this hitch polish is different from flatten. Like in my classes, I always showcase this. Flatten does completely remove the details, but hitch poly only removes the high pass. I think that's what hitch stands for. But yeah, you'll basically preserve the details. You just give it a try and you'll probably know what I mean. Over here it's still not huge enough, and I think I really want to expand it horizontally. So I'm just gonna use the move tool, just gather this, almost like a kind of a huge in the middle and then taper off nearer to the feet. So it's like the legs are just barely supporting. Okay, so these lines, right, you see here, I'm gonna use the H polish just to clean it up. But you can also see that I'm just lightly removing those lines. I'm not removing the anatomy. Right, that's the beauty of H polish. And there are likely a few more kind of hidden gem in the tools. So if you give those a try, you'll discover something new. And these are just a few that I found to be very helpful. And the mindset is always to just continue, don't spend too much time in a single location, and then come back again later, because it's difficult to ascertain what's good and what's not when it doesn't have a context with the rest of the body. So it's always good to just build the rest as well, just like we did, and then come back again. Like this fatty tissues around the pectorals, I barely finished it just now, because I'm just going around trying to see like the volume, the horizontal volume, how it's kind of drooping and hanging off the side of the chest. Right, is it something that I feel like it's looking good? If yes, then I'm gonna come back and clean those up. Right, if not, there's really no point cleaning it up at the start. If you find like this kind of sharing is nice, please do let me know in the comments so that I can do more of it. I think I'm moving away a bit of moving away from the coding side of the game, and I'm gonna dig in a little bit more on the art side, like sculpting the characters, get some of those artistic things in. Because I feel like I'm reaching the part of the programming coding where I need more accurate representation of the characters and animation. If not, I might have to rebuild them later. So I'm thinking I'll need to come in and figure this out now so that I can save time later. Even though my original intent is to finish up all the tech and then do the art, you know, just enjoy what I love to do until we finish the game. But I know production, it's usually not the case. Like it requires quite a bit of back and forth. And then once this is in, I'm gonna test it, test the gameplay, and I realize that something's not working, and then I have to come back and resculpt it again. So that's where I think, again, as we are sculpting, we don't think this is gonna be the last time we're doing it. So don't be perfect about it. Right? This is not it. We will have to come back again. You can see like overall the shape is kind of piecing together, right? Like overall the proportions is starting to work over here. I think you can see there's a bit of pinching that's happening. It's almost like the shoulders are pushing out this part of the body, so we need to kind of make it look a little bit more proportionate. Over here there is the brachioradialis, but right now it's just covered with fat, so we might want to just clean it up a bit and kind of re-simulate with sculpting kind of fats layering on top. So yeah, over here it's the pectoral, so let's try not to lose that because it's usually quite an important landmark. So I'm just gonna bring that back again. There is a very distinct flow from the clavicle, which is the collarbone, down towards the joint here. So I just want to make sure I maintain that shape. and here too. There's definitely a layer of fats in there as well. I'm not sure how long this stream is gonna be, but again, this is you watching me watching me work, so feel free to drop off anytime you want. Or if you're watching this in the future, just hop forward if this part bores you. But we're just gonna try and finish up this character. At least to get the volumes out, maybe we might want to add in a bit of the details. Maybe I can also take this opportunity to talk about like the way these zombies are kind of formed in this gaming world, right? And they're basically due to genetic changes, mutations, due to lab work, right? They were trying to solve like diabetes and medical issues faced by humans, and the medical trial went through, got to the masses, and then the genes mutated and started overgrowing, and that causes people to change. So deep down, I think they are still psychologically there, but they're also kind of clouded by visions. And this zombies are basically like living organisms, so they see each other as a colony, and their goal is to convert humans into part of their colony. So if you are not them, then you are technically the bacteria or a foreign object that needs to be converted or eradicated, which is why they don't attack each other. They only attack those that are not them yet. Right, there's a couple of details here that I think it's starting to look a bit noisy, so I'm just gonna start using again H polish to clean it up, and then we might want to come back and do something later. But for now, you can see that at least the shape feels a little bit more cohesive, the rest of the body, right? And over here, let me see. I think there's a bit of volume that is missing. I'm checking the silhouettes and the volumes, the flow, the like how the shapes is kind of flowing down from here down to here, and then down, 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 all the way till here, and anywhere that's kind of a bit bumpy or the shape is just not really flowing well, that's where the artistic hat that I'm wearing on would kick in, and then I'm just gonna iron those out. Right, you can see that over here it's kind of a bit flatter, so I'm just gonna use the move tool and just nudge it out slightly and push this back in, so we have a nice curve over there. Yeah, the elbow looks a bit too thin, so I'm just gonna pull that out. Lots of fatty tissues, it's just hanging on the back, right, and folding against the elbow, so we can definitely accentuate that. Right now we are using Dynamesh, so you can see that the surface detail is not there yet. Like we don't quite have the pores and scars and all the nice bumps and details on the skin. That's not the point at this stage, right? This point is Dynamesh, where we are trying to get the major shapes in, which is why I'm really focusing on silhouettes, on flow, on the art and design, and just really like from far you can tell a fatty zombie from a skinny one. That's the real intent, right? We are not kind of up close looking at every aspect of the zombie yet. That's for later. That's after the remesh, and then when we get more polygons to work with, let's say subdivision 7, we will have enough poly for us to get those details in. Right, for now it's just really the volumes that we are working with. and always working from macro to micro. So I would also say like right now he's not really like a zombie. He's just like a regular guy. Other than his teeth that is clenched, I don't think he's like technically a zombie as well. So there's quite a bit of work to do as well. Once we have the base shape in, just gonna see like if we can add in some skin folds so that it kind of matches the clenching of the teeth. But usually this adds unnecessary details as well, like noises and yeah, I don't think it's helping. So I'm just gonna Control Z all the way and remove that. It's probably not the right time to do now. I'm just gonna... Yeah, it's just warning me, ZBrush warning me that I just undo 25 changes. And am I sure? Yes, I am sure. Right, lots of fats that is squeezed against the back cranium. Against like the cranium is pushing the fats between the trapezius, the neck, and the back of the head, which is the cranium. He looks kind of thin around this area, so I'm just gonna use the move tool and just nudge the whole thing back out again. Doesn't feel proportionate. Like I think this feels better. His neck still feels too long, so maybe I might need to nudge this up higher, kind of shorten that. That does change the clavicle bone, so not ideal. I wasn't intending to. It's gonna affect the rigging later, but this does look a bit better. Like the neck is not elongated like a giraffe. Let me check the stream as well for now. Give me a second. Okay. Nobody's watching, but I'm just gonna continue. think I'm done. I'm just gonna toggle between this is the Screamer, this is the Seeker. I think the Seeker needs to be slightly different as well. Maybe one of the legs is different, or yeah, but silhouette wise right now I think the only change is here. The zombie is gonna be clothed as well, so we will need to design that too with Marvelous Designer. And then this is the difference, right? So they're kind of largely proportionately the same. It's just that the mass is different. But hopefully like the bone position will stay the same, so there is not much of a rigging from scratch every single time. So we have the Seeker, the Screamer, and then the Mauler. The Mauler right now, I think it's, as I mentioned, he's just like a regular guy. So there is no like kind of zombie overgrowth per se, like this kind of cell overgrowth. Same for the Screamer as well. It's just a regular skinny guy. So there will be passes needed to add those layer in. I think my bigger concern is that I can't have just one Seeker. Like every Seeker looks like that, right? I need permutations. So those will come maybe later in the production, where I need to test and see how does all this animate. Is there anything that I need to look out for? And then we come back for polish and iterations, and then from there we can create variations. All right, that's about it. It's 52 minutes long. Thanks for